and get started. If you can
Any
kind of
extra pens?
if you can kind of keep everybody to these 4 tables, I think that would work best. And we do have quite a few people joining us virtually.
Give me 1 second, Andrea. I'm gonna move this up a little bit.
I didn't go to the.
Give me 1 second.
Oh.
And those that are online, it's probably best to mute yourself just to avoid any background noise. We will be recording this and we can certainly call on you if you raise your hand. There's a button at the top that allows you to raise your hand if you have a question. Give me 1 second, Andrea. Hi, Lori. I'm seeing your question. You should be seeing the PowerPoint. Is everybody else seeing the PowerPoint online? Lori said she can't see it. Lori, if you want to try logging out and back in.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Just to introduce myself, I'm Sarah Sebastian, I'm Director of Membership Management Services at ASA, and I also have to manage chapter relations with Andrea Menasha, who's going to run our program today. She's joining us. She's on headquarters staff, but she's joining us from St. Louis. We hope to get her in person next year, but I will turn it over to you, Andrea.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Sarah. Yes, I am Andrea Menasha, and I started back in June, the end of June, as the new chapter development specialist. About 10 years ago, I worked with Todd Paradis at in the marketing department. And in those 10 years, I've had 2 children and moved to the St. Louis, Missouri area and where we are currently. But I am excited to be in this role to help you all out as you lead your chapter this year. Since being a parent, I know what it takes to have these commitments and the time it takes. So for these projects, these projects that you guys are having as far as being a chapter officer. So thank you very much for stepping up to lead your chapter and working to enhance not only your chapter, but the appraisal profession. As you can see here, the agenda is laid out here. And if you have any questions after each little section here, please feel free to raise your hand. Sarah can see all of those in person, and I will try to get these that are online. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so we will keep going here and working through our agenda. There will be time at the end for some open discussion, which we hope will be a benefit to you. Hope the whole training is a benefit to you and answers your questions that you may have. And if you don't have, if you need to answer or if you have any questions, please feel free to email us even later, chapterinfo@appraisers.org. I am happy to assist, and if I can't answer your questions, I will find the person to answer those questions. So bear with me as we learn together. Okay. Sarah, are you able to let these? You're letting. Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. All right. So we will begin with chapter governance. Just a brief overview here. As you know, or many of you probably know, chapters are required to hold a minimum of about 4 chapter meetings per year. These can be in person, these can be hybrid, a mix. But we ask that you hold about 4 chapter meetings per year. At the conclusion of each chapter meeting, the chapter secretary is responsible for giving us a copy of those minutes. And again, that email that you want to know is chapterinfo@appraisers.org. This is the email that comes to me as well as Sarah. And we will monitor that and make sure that you get your questions answered, as well as sending in your financial reports through this, as well as your meeting minutes. The chapter treasurer is required to maintain financial records and submit that chapter annual financial report. And I've received several, if not most of yours already. I am waiting on a few. And we just ask that that can be done closer to the beginning of the fiscal year, which is July 1. Please note that failure to provide these documents could delay in filing the 990N form, which can also jeopardize the chapter's nonprofit status. So I'm sure you guys are all aware of that, but we just want to make sure you get your financial reports in a timely manner, so we don't have to worry about that. Paul, yes, you had a question?
So the one thing I wanted to just bring up here, and I guess you have a treasurer coming in October at ASA National, is that correct? That you've hired a treasurer?
It's not a treasurer, it's the director of finance.
Okay. Because one of the responsibilities of the treasurer, and I never see anything about it, is 1099s. There's certain situations where you're responsible for issuing a 1099 as well. And unfortunately, I know sometimes the chapters are not doing that.
Are you referring to the chapter submitting a 1099?
Correct. At a chapter level, depending on the services that you're paying for, you may be required to issue a 1099 for those services. And I've never seen anything come out of National as far as guidance. I mean, I did it last year, but I've never seen anything come out about the responsibility for 1099s.
We can certainly check on that. That's not something that I'm familiar with either, but I will make a note to check on that we have an interim CFO right now who can help us answer that.
Yeah, because the catch is if you don't file, I mean, you're subject to penalty. If you don't file your 1099s, that's what happens. You get hit with penalties from the IRS. So I just wanted to bring it out. I just wanted to bring it up today.
Are you filing those directly with the IRS?
Excuse me?
Are you filing the 1099 directly with the IRS, or is that
Yes,
something-
I filed directly. Yes, correct. I filed directly with the IRS. Correct.
Okay, I will certainly get some more information on that.
All right, thank you. Thank you for that. That's good. Moving on here, chapters will receive your rebates, including dues and any assessments that you may have in October and April of each year. Note, as long as you are in compliance with having submitted your financial reports to ASA HQ. So it's very important to get those in a timely manner. Each year, ASA requests applications for the annual chapter awards, which are presented at the International Conference. Chapter awards includes Chapter of the Year, Chapter Member of the Year, Chapter Education Event, and Chapter Outreach Program. So you can be thinking about that this year as you run your chapter. Something to look forward to and to try to attain a Chapter of the Year status or Chapter Member of the Year. Those are always great goals. And the end right here, this last point, it talks about the 2024-2025 Chapter Officer Handbook. And I just wanted to let you know that this training will be recorded as well as sent out to you. This presentation will be sent out to you, so you will have all these links and all this information in this PowerPoint sent to each one of you to have on hand. The chapter officer handbook is your guide to help you better understand your responsibilities as a chapter officer. It lists all of the responsibilities as well as really detailed information on how to use ASA Connect, what the financial repercussions are, and a checklist for new officers to kind of help you guide you through this first year. So that's just a very brief overview, but like I said, take that chapter officer handbook and just put that on your desktop to refer to often. Any other further questions on this information? All right, moving on to chapter meetings and events. Receiving professional activities credit PA for chapter meetings. When hosting just a regular chapter meeting that doesn't require or that doesn't specifically have education tied to it, attendees should self-report 2 hours of PA when you're completing your reaccreditation process. Chapter meetings don't have to get pre-approval from ASA headquarters for this 2 hours of PA. And just a note, I'm not sure if you all know, but at the end of June, chapter officers, which includes president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer, will be automatically granted 20 hours of PA credit per year they are in office. Chapter committees and task force members will be granted about 15 hours of PA credit. So.
Sorry, could you say that again, please?
Yes, chapter officers who are president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer, they automatically will be granted 20 hours of PA credit per year you are in office. And chapter committee and task force members will be granted 15 hours of PA credit.
Yes.
So, for example, I have a director.
Hold on 1 second, Andrea.
We have directors. So how many credits do they get?
Directors are considered officers, so
Okay.
they get 20 as well.
They get 20 as well.
And a lot of times people will try to self-report those credits. They don't need to do that. We apply them automatically. I do them. I try to do them July 1st, the morning of. But a lot of times we get duplicate entries, so you don't need to report those.
And Sarah, how are you making sure each of the correct people receive that? Are you going to our websites to see our board members?
So this is why it's so important for chapters to give us their chapter officer rosters. You don't tell us who your officers are, they don't get their PA credits, they don't get access to that group on ASA Connect, they would be listed on our website. So we're relying on the chapters to give us those rosters. And I think this year we got all but a handful of rosters. So yeah, anytime during the year your chapter officers change, maybe somebody has to step down from their role and replace with someone else, make sure that information gets to us because that's how we apply those powers. Any other questions? Thank you. Go ahead, Andrea.
Okay. And receiving continuing education credit for your chapter events. If you're hosting a special event that includes education and it is directly related to the appraisal field, we ask that you complete the CE credit request form if you would like the CE credit pre-approved. This is for pre-approval only to kind of find out how many credits your event would be worth. So again, if you're holding a special CE educational event that is directly related to the appraisal field, we ask that you fill out this credit request form for pre-approval only and submit it to the credentials@appraisers.org email prior to your event. And once we receive your form, we'll review that information and advise you of the total credits granted for that event. At the conclusion of those events, you would send that form to each attendee to self-report their CE credits. So they have to keep track of those CE credits and do that during their reaccreditation process. Chapters may also utilize the guidelines noted in the reaccreditation guide, and that is located on the reaccreditation page on our website. And there it gives you some guidelines to kind of determine appropriate credits for your activities or your events. So if you have any questions regarding CE, that can always be sent to credentials@appraisers.org. Yes, Paul.
Okay, so can I ask real quick on this? Do we have to, during a educational event, do we have to confirm that people are attending? Like CPE is every 50 minutes, you have to confirm attendance. Do we need to do something like that on this or no?
I can answer that, Andrea. So when members reaccredit their credential, they are under an honor system. So if they are reporting 4 credits and they left halfway through the event, they're on the honor system. So you do not need to be checking people that are leaving early. You can certainly remind them if you'd like, but they are on an honor system and they agree during the reaccreditation process that they have followed all of the requirements and that what they're reporting is true.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. All right, moving on. Marketing your chapter event. If your chapter is hosting an event, webinar, meeting, education course that is specifically educational based, related to the appraisal field, and you would like to promote it on our chapter education page, you can fill out this chapter event request form, and that would be sent to education@appraisers.org. We will highlight that on our chapter education page. That would be a free kind of tool resource for you. We would also list it on our Facebook and LinkedIn page. Premium marketing activities you can see there for $75. You could get your editorial listing for 2 months in the Associated Discipline ASA newsletter, postings on our social media channels, and ASA's blog. Of course, chapter would provide the content for all of those things.
Are a little skeptical, they have questions, and they just want to speak to someone that's a little bit more seasoned and has been here for a lot more time. Okay, you want to arrange.
Hold on a second, Andy, we have a question.
Is there a question?
Why the chapter has to pay marketing $75 when we're all in the same
So what's really
deal
important
together?
is
We're trying to promote ASA. We should, unless there's some cost attributed to marketing, and it should be based on what it actually costs them, not as a flat fee for advertising this chapter.
And we do provide basic advertising, so on the chapter page, you can advertise it on your ASA Connect page, but the 75, I don't know where that originated from. That's a fee that has been around longer than I have. We do also have the opportunity for, if you wanted us to collect registrations for you and set up the registration on our website, we can also do that if the chapter doesn't want to deal with finding a registration website and collecting payment. I can certainly look more into that of where the fee originated from, but
They should get
it was,
all the publicity they can possibly get, and it looks good for ASA National, and it looks good for the chapter if they're doing something. So
okay.
unless there's a fee associated that they actually have to pay to, International has a cost.
Well, we do have cost, staff time, and the cost of our platform that we use to market.
But our newspaper,
Yes, but those would be costs.
I appreciate you looking into
Yeah,
that.
I certainly will.
But Sarah, you're mixing apples and oranges, because what Mike just asked about is the $75 fee for ASA to then send out some informational emails, because Houston chapters paid that many times. And what you just mentioned is handling a registration for a class, and that's completely
I was
different.
mentioning that we also do that in addition to the marketing. Sorry, that was a separate thought. Yes, that is different.
Yeah, that's completely different. It's not part of that $75. $75 that we've spent in the past covers maybe 4 emails that goes out, maybe.
Yes.
Let's see here.
And a lot of times ASA then takes our content, changes it to a design that mimics everything else that they advertise when we want our content and our graphic design work to be going out, because that's branding for our events. So I think we look at that $75 fee, and I think we should look at the support of the chapters in a different role than just taking over and interpreting our marketing for our events. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but when we do put together that marketing for the chapters, events, whatever they're doing, do we not send that to you all before we're sending it out for approval?
And in fact, the reason I know this so well is in recent year or two, we've asked, hey, what has happened for that $75? And then we were sent an email showing some screenshots of what went out. It's like, okay, well, that's not anything to do with our event, with our branding, with our logo or anything like that. So it's like, okay, now you're turning our unique graphics for this event and then making it look like everything else ASA sends out.
Well, they know better than you do. And you're the local chapter and you're the one providing the service, and it seems that.
Harley versus Honda here.
Well, can I recommend that, like, I think Sarah's heard the message that there's concerns about not only the $75, but the actual fee, but then what happens with the marketing. So rather than spend more time going, delving into details on that, let's capture that and move on.
Thank you. Go ahead, Andrea.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving on to ASA Connect and chapter communications. How many of you utilize ASA Connect? Great, I see hands. Yes, yes. ASA Connect chapter officers are strongly encouraged to communicate frequently with their chapter members through ASA Connect. You can post about chapter meetings, events, news from HQ, highlight chapter members, anything that you have questions about regarding appraisals. So if you have any questions on how to get there, there is a link on the next slide that will kind of give you a play-by-play on how to access that. Again, if you have any questions about that, please feel free to give me a call, an email. I'll walk you through that. I'm happy to do that. Members can post directly on ASA Connect or use the email address found in each group. So you all are a part of the all chapter officers as well as your own specific chapter group. Each chapter is again provided a designated group that includes current chapter members and current chapter officers.
Sarah?
Yes. We have a question here. Go ahead.
Yes, Gabrielle?
It's a great,
There's questions online too.
Hold on, Andrea, let's let Mike, we have in person with a question, and then let's go to the questions online if that works.
Okay, so I noted that personal property was opt out as opposed to opting into this. This opting out is a better program because personal property has tremendous amount of use on ASA Connect.
The real property.
I
so opt
post
out
there.
now.
And
I
all the
would like to
chapters,
see everybody have to opt out as opposed to in. So let them all be in and let them try to get out.
all the chapters are now opt out.
Yes, they have been from the beginning.
So then we need to market how to get them in. I mean, to use it. 'cause
They're
They're already in.
They're in, but how to use it?
Yeah.
That's, sorry.
Okay, go ahead, Andrea.
All right, I think Gabrielle had a question.
Shower.
Hang on one sec. You don't mind.
Okay, Paul?
It's online if you're trying to ask a
Questions?
question.
No.
Yeah, Paul, go ahead.
No, I didn't have any questions.
Oh, okay.
Take your raise.
I saw your hand raised.
Oh, sorry. I was just raising when you asked to use ASA Connect. Sorry about
Oh,
that.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't take it off. Sorry about that.
Gabrielle,
Sorry about that.
that's why I raised my hand too.
Okay, okay.
Is there another person there with their hand up? Andrea?
Lori, did you have a question? Lori Kelly?
Maybe she was just raising hers too. We have a question here in person, Rick.
Yes, my question is what are the plans for ASA to expand the member involvement in ASA Connect?
We could spend all day talking about that, couldn't we? There are plans to reassess ASA Connect and or relaunch the site to get more use. It's my easiest answer. We can spend a lot of time on this conversation.
We'll have a side
We
conversation.
can do that. Okay, go ahead, Andrea.
Okay. I'm sorry, I lost my lost my PowerPoint here.
We still see it. You might have it on a third screen. If you're in the
Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. ASA Connect, sorry. Let's move on to the All Chapter Officers group, designed to allow chapter officers access to all the chapter resources and forms you may need. Logos, certificate forms, the chapter event request forms that we've talked about, the CE credit request forms we've talked about, and tips and tricks and marketing ideas, all those kinds of things can be found on ASA Connect in the Documents tab once you're logged in. And only current chapter officers have access to the All Chapter Officers group. And here is, down below here, we see how to access this All Chapter Officers group. We really want to encourage you to use this platform. It is very simple to use and keeps all your stuff right there. Click on ASA Connect. You would see that icon on our website. You log in. And again, if you have questions, please feel free to give me an email, a call. I will help you gladly walk through that. There's also a little virtual demonstration if you would like to visit the YouTube page down below there for that. So, all right, chapter member lists and reports. Chapter member lists and reports can be found on our website once you're logged in and you're in your chapter homepage. The types of reports available: chapter members, obviously a complete roster of all your chapter members, and this includes contact information. Terminated chapter members are also included in this, and chapter prospects. These are both great ways to recruit, to kind of call these members and try to recruit them back, reactivate membership. Sometimes they don't know that they have lapsed their membership, and so just maybe a phone call helps with that. These lists can be downloaded in an Excel file, so that is helpful.
Yes.
Hold on a second. Is reaching out to people who have terminated their membership the role of the chapter members or officers, or isn't that an ASA endeavor?
So by the time they get onto that list, we've reached out to them, not exaggerating, 13 times with phone calls every day. And then they are terminated. So if the chapters would like to reach out to them, that would be fantastic. But no, by the time they get to that list, we've exasperated all of our ethics. Thank you. Yes, go ahead, Andrea.
Okay. And here's how you can access those chapter reports. You would just, again, log into ASA, click the Get Involved button at the top there, and then you would click on the ASA chapters. Again, you're going to get this PowerPoint, and it'll have play-by-play for you to get to this spot. Once you click on the ASA chapters, you have to log or scroll down and find there'll be a list of chapters. You pick your chapter, select your chapter, and then the officers are listed. You scroll down, and then the chapter members are listed, as well as the terminated and chapter prospects. So all of that is located right under your chapter homepage. Any other questions on member reports? Okay. All right, and Sarah will talk on cybersecurity.
No, I think I'm good. What's weird is that on my computer, I don't see the grid at the bottom, but I can't get rid of that for everyone. So, if you guys can just deal with that, then we'll just muddle through. So I'm going to do the cybersecurity section of this presentation, mainly because our IT staff is not on site yet. So please don't ask me a lot of questions about the cybersecurity. That's my disclaimer at the beginning here. So we'll get into some of the examples of things that have happened with chapters, but we want our chapter officers specifically, but also chapter members to take it very seriously that a lot of times because of the positions that you're holding as a chapter officer, you're often a target for these different waves of people trying to get you to do things and break your computer and this sort of such. So we often assume that cybercrime happens to someone else or trust the defenses in your IT staff or your computer will stop this thing from happening. I am certainly guilty of that. Our IT staff puts some stats in here for you. So 8 out of 10 security breaches are the result of human error. There's a couple different ways that we'll talk about that scammers try to get you to do things. So the first one is phishing. All of you have probably at some time gotten an email where they're phishing for information or wanting you to click on something. We actually get these at work all the time on purpose, and they try to trick us, and we'll talk about that too. But every one of us at some time has gotten a phishing email. This kind of goes into what a phishing email is. I'm sure at this point you all know what a phishing email is. Now that AI has entered the world, phishing attempts are getting even more sophisticated and trickier to spot. I'll tell a side story. We do have a know before training that we go through on staff that helps us to not click on such things. And I had asked for PTO one day and had taken the day off. And then I got an email responding, legit email that said something like, stop checking email on vacation. I was like, okay. And then 10 minutes later, I got an email that said, there is a comment added by your manager on your time off request. And I was like, oh, well, she must have commented on there too. Luckily, it was one of our trick. We get emails sent to us to try to trick us into clicking on things. So it was one of those, it wasn't something malicious, but just be aware. I was doing something quick and wasn't paying attention. So recently before our conference, we got lots of reports from members, not just attendees at the conference, but members who had gotten an email where different people were offering to sell you an attendee list of, I think it said, guaranteed 1,000 attendees. These have been vetted. These are valid contacts. Contact us and we'll tell you how to get the list, or it was more sophisticated than that. We actually had members contact them. They obviously are not legit, but the response was, give us $175 and we'll send you this list. So as you can imagine, you're probably going to give them your $175. You're not going to get anything. The way that they got your email addresses is that they have very sophisticated ways of culling member or email addresses off of websites. So even though find an appraiser, you have to do several clicks to get through to someone's email address. They sometimes hire people to do that. So that's the way that they got everybody's email addresses. And I know they sent out one email, if not two. I think one of our PP members just emailed me yesterday and said, I got it again. Just delete it. So just know that that did not come from ASA. We sent out an email communication when all of this was happening, letting members know that that was not something from ASA and to be alert. So wanted to mention that. This is an example of an email that has lots of red flags. You probably can't see it, so I will tell you what's in it. But the from says American Society of Appraisers secure file. And the email address, and this is something that would come to our staff, the email address is an email that does not belong to ASA. So that's your first flag. There's also a call to action at the bottom that says, we need everyone to create a profile for receiving files using the provided link below. So whenever there's a call to action, something very urgent, make that a red flag in your mind. And also there's a link at the bottom that says appraisers.org. So first glance, you might think, oh, that's valid. But if you hover over that link, it does not take you to appraisers.org. It would take you to something completely different. So those are just the things to look out for. And then this just, again, tells you what to look out for. You can verify. Google is your friend. Look for grammar or spelling errors. Does the sender's email make sense? Don't answer calls or reply to text from numbers you don't recognize. I think in this day and age, I don't ever answer the phone if I don't have a number. So, especially on my cell phone. My mother only has so some security things that you can do is to enable automatic operating system and software application updates. Sorry, this is so small for you when I'm done. Finger. Restrict downloads unless you are sure the source is secure, and then you just secure connection on your device. So never connect to a public open network. Only connect to private in-home networks, mobile hotspots, or VPNs. And there's just some other tips on here. Again, we'll provide these to you all later. You can use secure passwords and don't store them in your browser. I used to be very guilty of using the same password for every website out there because I didn't want to have to learn more than one. And then I got a password manager, and now it makes up my passwords for me, and I literally don't know any of them, which is ideally what you want. So I mentioned KnowBe4. That's something that ASA uses for our staff to train us on cybersecurity. And like I said, it also tricks us at times, and then we have to go to remedial training, which we've all had to do at one point. So that is a very valuable tool, something that you might want to consider if you're a business.
What's it called again?
It's called KnowBe4, KNOWBE, and the number 4. So the human element of security, it had been seriously neglected. So KnowBe4 was created to help organizations manage ongoing problem of social engineering through it says comprehensive new school awareness training approach, which sounds very sophisticated. But the videos that we go through training quarterly, Bonnie, it's not as painful as you can imagine. So this is something that you should consider. We actually, in the past, I think 2 years ago, we required chapter officers to go through the KnowBe4 training. And then we ran into a little issue last year when we tried to put that into place again. So I have a meeting scheduled with Cynthia for us to kind of flesh that out. So we will ask chapter officers to go through that training. Again, it's not too painful, and you will get some PA credit for that as well. So be on the lookout for that after conference. Some other things that you can do on an individual basis is freeze your credit. I actually just did this, and it was relatively simple. You just have to go to the 3 sites and create a quick profile, and they monitor and freeze your credit. It wasn't as painful as I thought it might be. And you have to remember to unfreeze it if you don't have a car, but you want to invest in identity theft protection. So personal privacy scans, dark web surveillance. I know a lot of credit cards now come with monitoring. I get my credit report and monitoring with at least 2 credit cards now. I don't have to pay anything additional for that. So financial accounts activity monitoring, and then protect your personally identifiable information.
Sarah?
Yes.
My social security number has been exposed on the dark web, and I've been notified by at least a half a dozen people telling me that they have been compromised, and they've offered me free cybersecurity protection through Experian or some new company I've never heard of. Should we do more than one, or is one enough?
Good question. I don't know. I will tell you that I recently got a letter from, it wasn't my doctor's office, but it was a company that my doctor's office had hired. And it said that your information may have been exposed. Here's a free year of credit monitoring. I went that far to activate that, but I didn't activate anything additional on my own. I've gotten a year of free credit monitoring. I don't know if I love Target. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but they had a big security breach years ago. And they also monitored my credit for a year. Nothing ever popped up, but I didn't do anything additional. Should I have? I don't know. It's a good question. Anybody else know the answer to that?
Usually you do more than one. I'm on the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners as well. And normally you go with more than one monitoring just for safety. But the biggest thing you should be doing is freezing your credit reporting at all 3 credit bureaus. That is the biggest thing you should do right now, so that they cannot take out credit cards or any type of loans under your Social Security number. You should keep those frozen.
Thank you. So Rick, you can do that. I did do that last week after reading through these slides. I was like, I should go do that. And it really wasn't that painful. I had to unsubscribe from all their other marketing emails after the fact, but signing up wasn't too bad. The most secure password, like I mentioned, is a password that you can't remember. So we at ASA on staff, we use Dashlane, which is a good one. It's, you log into it once at the beginning of the day, and then it prompts you to use Dashlane when you're entering a password. I couldn't tell you a single one of my passwords for any of our work platforms, so they must be good. There's some free ones out there too. I have a free one for my personal passwords. It's called NordPass, but there's lots of other ones out there as well. And don't use the same password.
Yeah, and Dashlane's only $60 a year. That's all it is for the subscription. It's not very expensive.
Dashlane is $50.
Yeah, I didn't know, but it sounds like Dashlane. Yeah, did you say 50 or 60?
60. I use Dashlane as well. Plus they have a VPN. There's a lot. I mean, exactly. It does your password generator, so you have more secure password that you're using for your accounts, and it tells you, are you reusing a password with different logins? It's very good software, as all of them are. But I would recommend that as well. You definitely want to use password management software as well.
Paul, I should have had you present these slides. Thank you. And then another type, so Andrea and I were shuffling up the names of these because there's phishing and then there's also smishing. So smishing is like phishing, but it comes in the form of text message. So I've gotten lots of text messages that appear like they're coming from UPS about a package that I'm receiving, and I do get a lot of packages, but they always seem a little off. So I don't click on any of those anymore at all. I go straight to whatever I ordered from Amazon, Target, whatever, and track it that way if I need to. But I'm sure that they come from other, this says parcel delivery service or from a bank. I've not gotten one from a bank, but I'm sure that occurs too. So just be aware of that, especially I think with people not having landlines anymore, some people, my parents do. And giving out their cell phone as their primary phone number, your phone number is going to get out there just like our home phones used to. So in addition to the fun phishing and smishing, there's also phishing. Phishing is fraudulent calls or voicemails. Scammers call potential victims, often using pre-recorded robocalls pretending to be a legitimate company to solicit your information. You'll get a call about your car's extended warranty. I don't know at this point if anybody would fall for that, but maybe they'd have a better spiel. But if you answer this call and get connected, they can ask you for your personal information. I remember seeing this, I think, on the Today Show or something, where scammers will call you, and when they say, "Hi, is this Sarah?" and you say yes, they record that. And then they use that to pretend to be you on the phone to authorize charges to access your financial accounts. So again, just don't answer that. That's my solution. Or the door. Just really.
I just say, what do you want? What do you want?
Yeah. Yes. Don't ever say yes. That's all I've got. But again, we have an IT staff. If you have bigger questions, we can certainly field those to our IT staff. I am no expert on IT, but that's all I've got for you. Okay, Andrea, I think you can steal them back for me now.
All right, I'll take that back. Okay. All right, thank you. And we'll move on to heading right into chapter website templates. Chapter website template. As a resource to our chapters, we, ASA, provide a template to all of our chapters. Do you have to use this? No, but it is a free resource for chapters to utilize our website template. This template has the same look and feel as ASA's website, but it is personalized to your chapter. On this website, you can create events, provide information about your chapter, upload chapter photos, articles. You can even put your chapter officers on there. I do know that a lot of the tabs are redirected to ASA. So there is some upkeep, but we have a great IT staff here, and I would love to help you if you would like to get this started for your website. It is essential that you keep up the website to keep it current. It is beneficial for chapter participation and engagement to keep that website up to date with current events, current topics, things like that. So if you have any questions about that, please give me a call. It may seem like a bear trying to get a website started, but I would love to help you through that process if you would like that. Again, that is 100% free for chapters. Paul, did you have a question?
Can we do event registrations on this site?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay, so you can advertise the event, but you can't actually manage the registrations.
Yes, you could
Okay.
have a link from the website to the platform that you use.
Okay.
Okay. Good question.
Is he talking about his own event or is he talking about ASA events?
His event.
Chapter events. It'd be chapter events that we manage registrations.
Yes, and
Okay, talk to Pamela Ben-Susan, the Houston chapter secretary. She's the one who developed our chapter website. We have every registration for everything we do on our website.
Yes, we're just saying if you use an ASA chapter template, you could link to, I'm sure that she's not accept, they don't have an ASA website, I don't think.
No, because ASA mirrored this template after Pamela's design for Houston. So, but the point is is he not able to add a page to that website and then run?
Yes, you just can't accept the payment, it's just like we can't process payments for you.
But I don't think that's what he's asking though, right?
He's asking if we can accept the registrations, which would mean.
No, it is, exactly. Because right now we have a separate, we use, obviously we subscribe for something separately. I was just trying to understand how this plugs into what we currently have.
Well, okay, so then I'll ask the question that I thought he was asking. If anybody wants to have the template from ASA, modify it to their own liking, they can add a page then and they can run their own registration and handle their money and all that, right?
Yes,
Okay,
it just,
that didn't sound
right,
like.
it wouldn't go through, like if it wouldn't go through
It stays
our
at the chapter.
database. is
Right,
what we're
it
saying.
stays at the chapter, but you can modify that template in order to to handle those functions, right?
Yes.
Okay, because that wasn't really the direction that went. Thank you.
right, thank you. Anybody else have any questions? Okay.
I would agree if there's a standard way to do that Houston has where it's funding into event right or whatever, you could have that as an option for chapters. So that they don't have to kind of recreate.
This is an option.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Sarah, what was the question?
I think it was answered. I'm taking it. I'll follow up with you afterwards.
Yeah.
All right, we will move on.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so for chapter website template, there are some guidelines right here for you to follow. Obviously, should be provide concise, accurate, and current information for chapter members. That is crucial to keep your website up to date. So you might want to have a person on your chapter to kind of monitor that. Chapter websites are not only a reflection on you, the chapter, but ASA as a whole. And the messaging of your chapter should be consistent with ASA's mission statement, which you see here. And here's just a copyright reminder for you to use images that are copyright free, royalty free. So you are not, so you are in compliance with that. So again, if you have any questions about that, please feel free to give me a ring or call. I would love to help anyone start that. And here we have a template, the New York City chapter, their website, www.asany.com is the template if you would like to go see one. Here it is for you. The education tab at the top takes you to ASA's education tab. The find an appraiser takes you to ASA's find an appraiser tab within New York City. So it may seem daunting starting a new chapter, starting a new website, but we are here to help and help you learn it as well. Any other questions on website templates?
We were working with Patrick Vaughn on this website, and we were having problems making changes in the pages.
What's your chapter?
New York, this one. This one?
Okay. We were working on another one, so I wanted to make sure we were talking about the same one. I know that we had a meeting with Maria and.
Edwards,
Yes, and
Ron Gold,
no, female.
a female,
Female.
Stephanie.
Yes. So we actually had a meeting between the two of them and Matrix, who is the
Our
vendor for the website. And I thought that we got all of that ironed out. Are there still issues?
I'll check.
Okay, let me know, or Andrea know.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, go ahead, Andrea.
Thank you. All right, I think right here is where we pause for a quick little 10-minute break. If there are no more questions at this point.
Sounds good. Let's come back at 5 after. That works.
Okay.
For years, for years. That's exactly what I, literally exactly. What I did.
Why don't I go over there and come back for it?
Okay.
I haven't.
Great.
Resign.
I'm gonna try to get it from
Good,
Lisa.
thank you. Bye.
It was in email.
Oh.
It was in the staff thing.
Oh, that's how are you? There, no, it's in the email.
So we have a fun event coming Monday.
Hi. How are you?
Thank you. Everybody gets.
My life, that person.
I'm gonna give those.
I know.
This is gonna be so hot. People are gonna talk about this video.
And so anyway.
Okay.
A little bit like.
Wildfire, right?
Yeah, it's good. It's gonna be fun. And then we did a little farm. So we're gonna. I'm gonna give you that. So that you. Yeah. But everything.
Well, so on the flight.
I think that's a short amount of time. Well, I don't know if the attorneys have used it. Yeah. That's like from down that to, and I'll also remind you that we're not there to talk about we're there to. Oh, Jenna. We're not gonna be on weeds. I'm the counsel, but if it's testimony, then yeah, let's go. But stuff now. Yeah, Kathy, how'd you use that? It's like, okay, well, hang on, this is that. That's the happy hour. You know what's that?
Coming down to the least step that I
I'm good.
That way I can keep you in mind.
You don't want to be in LA. You don't want to be in yeah. Oh, Poor Oh my gosh, I don't even think that. I just got that one piece. It is very. Yeah, a little different, like. But it's just like assholes on the chip is bad. We're just doing the best we can. And then the chip. Well, but that's on top of that. We could have taken on the black card on that. Yes. Yes.
How's it going? Good, how are you? Good, well, Karen. Karen, I see you. Good, good.
The whole state.
Yeah, I was up here.
I'm international.
Yeah, that's why.
Wow, 15 years ago. Okay. Long time.
Yeah, almost done, I think. No.
So bad. You were relying on people to help us, and now it's like. Salt Lake City. Remember when I was. You guys had some-
And if I have to do that,
And.
So what you can do when you're ready is, so this is on Andrea, this is on Andrea's computer. So what we can do is you can take control.
Okay.
And then
I haven't quite figured, I think you can do it like this. Yes. Okay. And then you should be able to. Okay. So
When you're
I'm
ready.
presenting from here?
Yes.
Okay. And then when you're done, she'll steal it back.
Okay.
And I mean, you probably don't want to like,
Have your face this way.
yeah, it's
So
very, maybe just like,
yeah, or whatever you think. Because that's why I'm sitting up there doing mine on my computer. Do you want to do it on my laptop instead? And then you can sit here? All right.
here, let me.
Okay.
Hey, Bonnie.
Wednesday.
This here for the-
Yeah, Natalie and I ran into each other at the airport. Did you get a gift?
I'm trying to forget about it. Yeah. Okay, I think we'll go ahead and get it started. Andy, we're gonna do, Mark, do a quick spiel. Gary, I'll resend it to you. A quick spiel about the foundation, and then we'll turn it over to Meredith to talk about you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mark Sandler. I'm the chair of the American Society of Education Foundation. And our job is to help American science appraisers bankroll new appraisers for us to find someone to replace ourselves. So how many of you have mentored an appraiser in the past? Raise your hand. Okay, so the rest of you failed. Being at my age, at one point, I was not as unbelievably unsuccessful as I am now. I was really unsuccessful. I graduated from school. I had $0 in the bank, but I had enough money to get home. Fortunately, I had a dad that paid for my ASA education, past president of the chapter, all kinds of stuff. Without it, I wouldn't have been able to do it. A lot of people want to be appraisers. They don't have the funds. This is going to help with the funds. Look on this with the phone, do the QR code, which is technological above in my head. But you aim your phone at it, it takes you to the auction, and we need your money. We need the money to give to people for a grant, for them to take the classes, for them to be better appraisers, for them to take classes, even once they're an appraiser, to do better at their craft. And even at my advanced age, I'm just finishing up another rendition of 203 for gems and jewelry. Not real appraisers like you people, but we do stuff. So remember two things. Your job is in the mission statement that we all subscribed to when we became members of ASA, was to do the right thing for the right reasons. The second thing was to educate the public. With the Education Foundation, that's what it's all about. Doing the right thing for the right reasons and finding a way to educate the public and educate new people to be appraisers. For those of you who subscribe to that, this is a good start. Thanks for your time. Have fun here in Portland and have a cup of coffee on the ASA.
I have a question. With this, if we scan this, do we see the items that are up for auction and we can bid right there?
Show up on your phone, send money. If you have a problem, call our current president because he's technologically superior to all of us. Right?
Is, yeah.
Yeah.
There it is.
No, in all seriousness, do your craft and find someone to replace you. That's the goal. Thanks.
Can we get those tags?
What? Oh, everyone should have a rubber band.
Yeah.
And if you need more, I know where to get more. Thank you, Carol, for the idea, because it was Carol's idea.
These will be a happy hour, right?
Tomorrow? Yeah, I'll have to say. And,
Oh, okay, so these are more than the
that's your
registration.
registration. And if you lose one, find me or Carol. We'll find you.
Oh, I was gonna send our friend who came early.
Yeah. If you need more, let us know. We've got it back. Well, Lisa Perry is the head of the conference. I'm going to go get her. Thank you.
All right, my turn now. If you were here last year, you've already heard this, so you get to enjoy it the second time. So I'm going to talk about offering youth pack courses on the chapter level. So I'm Meredith McCann. I'm Senior Education Manager for RPPP, and I handle the youth pack classes. So how you offer a youth pack class at your chapter is you need to decide which course you'd like to hold. There are 3 15-hour courses. There's the National Youth Pack course, the 15-hour Youth Pack for personal property, and that for the foundation, they consider TP, GJ, and MTS personal property. That all falls under personal property. And there's also the 15-hour Youth Pack for business valuation. There are 3 7-hour update courses you can also offer. The 7-hour National Youth Pack update, the 7-hour Youth Pack update for personal property, and the 7-hour Youth Pack update for business valuation. This is a change since last year. BD used to be able to take any of the 7-hour update courses. BD now needs to take the BD specific course. But that is something to keep in mind when you are deciding which course you'd like to offer. After you've selected your course, you need to select a youth pack instructor. There is a list available on the Appraisal Foundation website. Any AQB certified youth pack instructor can teach the personal property or BD course. though it is highly recommended you pick somebody from that discipline to teach the course. For both national UFAP and UFAP update courses, they can only be taught by an AQB certified UFAP instructor who is also a state certified real estate appraiser. So that has a lot more parameters on who can teach it than the other courses. So your next steps, after you've picked a course and an instructor, you're going to want to pick a class date application. This all needs to be handled on the local level. You need to set your class registration fees. And this is all listed on the class request form. You don't need to write this down. You're going to want to account for the student admin fee. If you're a chapter who would like the ASA support for hosting your chat or for holding the class, you work with me and there is a student admin fee. For the PP and BD class, it's $15 per student. For the national class, it is $35 per student. And the reason it is more expensive for the national courses is because it, requires state approvals, which requires, time and money. It also requires specific certificates, which also takes up more time than the kind of generic certificate for the other classes. So that's why there is a difference in the pricing. You're also going to want to account for the UFAP royalty fees. These are fees that were put in place by the Appraisal Foundation, not ASA. I'll go through quickly what the fees are, but again, these are all on the class request form, so you don't need to write it down now. So the e-UFAP book, the digital copy, it is $30 for members, $35 for non-members. The reference manual is $45 for members and non-members. The 7-hour manual is $25 for members and non-members. And the 15-hour manual is $35 for members and non-members. If you want hard copies, those are available for the UFAP book, the reference manual, and the national student manuals. The PP and BD courses, the student manual is not available to purchase from the foundation. They do not print hard copies of those. So after you've accounted for your fees, including the instructor fee and any meeting space fees, if you're hosting a national UFAP course, you're going to need to select which states you want to get approval in. That you can do up to 3 state approvals. If you've already offered this class last year, it's most likely still approved in your state, and we can check on that for you. Then once you have all that set up, you're going to want to send in your UFAP class request form to education@appraisers.org, and that is available on the ASA website in the chapter education page. Oh, I already have that covered on the next slide. So here is what it looks like on the ASA website. And you can always reach out to me directly at mmccann, that's MMCCANN, @appraisers.org. It's a lot of duplicate letters. You might get it wrong the first time. Or you can also email education@appraisers.org, which is much easier to remember. So you're probably already familiar with this, since it has been about a year since these changes were announced. For the 2024 UFAP courses, the 3 15-hour courses, and the 7-hour residential review and UFAP compliance course, they are now open-ended and will only be updated if there's been changes to the UFAP book. The 3 manuals are now required for all students: the 2024 UFAP book, the 2024 15-hour student manual, and the 2024 UFAP guidance and reference manual. Changes to the update courses. The 3 7-hour UFAP update courses, National Personal Property and Mass Appraisal, remain on that same 2-year cycle. The BD UFAP course, that is an ASA course. It is not a foundation course. I'm pretty certain that will still stay on the same 2-hour cycle, but yes, Bonnie is shaking her head, yes. So that will stay on the 2-year cycle. And like the 15-hour course, there are 3 student manuals required, or 3 manuals required. the 2024 youth FAP book, the 2024 to 2025 7-hour student manual, and the 2024 youth FAP guidance and reference manual. And that was at the end of my presentation. Are there any questions?
Steal back your slides.
Yes.
What if we take the 15 hour?
Yes.
We look at the, here's really what
Yes, do you want to talk in the microphone?
Yeah, can you repeat the question too?
Yes, there was a question about, yes, so once you take the 15 hour, you need to take the youth FAP update course every cycle. If you miss a cycle, you have to retake the 15 hour. So make sure to take the 7-hour update every time there's a new one. Like I said, there will be a new one every 2 years. So if you've not already taken 2024 to 2025, get that done by the end of next year, or else you will have to take the 15 hour again.
Okay. Go ahead. Oh, actually, Gary, hold on, Mary.
Yes.
We have a question online. Gary asked, how does a proctor work? I have a person whom I need to be a proctor for, but can't.
Yeah, so I will say, if you have somebody locally who needs to take the 15-hour youth FAP course, I believe there are rules around it. This one I'm not totally certain on. I can definitely get back to you. Generally, they're proctored by, I think they've done like libraries and universities. With youth FAP, unlike the ASA courses, we really have to be careful with the exam. So I don't want to say we can have an ASA member proctor it like we can, an ASA exam. So if I can get that person the same, I will look into it and get back to that. Oh, Sandy, who I feel like knows more about youth FAP than anyone, is telling me a youth FAP instructor can proctor it. So if you have a local youth FAP instructor, that would be an option.
Sandy volunteer.
Thank you.
Okay, Andrea.
Okay. Moving on to ways to increase chapter participation. So in my previous job, I administered a local chapter for St. Louis for another organization. And so I kind of get an idea of chapters and how they run a little bit. And I know that several of you I've heard from, it's hard to get engagement and participation from members. So we want to spend really the rest of the time kind of talking about this amongst yourselves, as well as some ideas that we have here at HQ, but you guys are on the front line, so to say. So really just want you to interact with each other if you have any questions about member engagement, member and recruitment, things like that. So we'll finish up with these last couple of slides and give you a chance to talk. So regarding chapter participation, again, these are ideas that we've had, I think that have come from you, but holding a strategic planning meeting for the year. This is crucial to kind of get everybody on the same page and to get your meetings, events planned for the year. Then you can put it up on your website and start marketing those for the upcoming year. People like to know those well in advance. So having that planning meeting is huge once you are in your role beginning in July. Utilizing your ASA Connect chapter group to communicate with chapter members. Again, just kind of bringing this in, talking with each other. It's a new platform, and so it's something new that some of you may have to learn or members may have to learn, but it is great to have everybody in one space. Having hybrid events, virtual and in person, you guys know the benefit of those options as well. Sending personal invites, having chapter officers, send an email to your membership specifically from you. Keeping your website current is another one right here. It's very essential and crucial that you keep those things up to date. And the last point here, keep it fresh and offer a unique experience or topic. So you might have to think outside the box. That strategic planning meeting at the beginning of the year is huge for you all to kind of come up with something outside the box. Maybe you bring in city leaders or people within the CPA field or different, just you got to think outside the box as far as who you work with on a daily basis, and bring those people in to talk to your members. So that's a little bit about chapter participation. Chapter marketing your chapter to your local area. Again, your city, your area, your people. Again, try to utilize the ASA Connect, your chapter group, as much as possible. It's almost like Facebook, and you can pin, and then hold all your chapter bylaws are in your group, things like that. You can promote an event. You can reach out to your region governor to promote that event, and that's up to them if they wish to do so. Another way, I've seen some of your chapters on LinkedIn. This is a great way to kind of bring in outsiders who may not know about ASA. So creating a LinkedIn page for your chapter is a good idea. Here we can promote events, highlight fellow appraisers, and I see that some of you are already doing that, which is great. You can also contact us, ASA HQ, for that chapter event marketing if you would like to be on that chapter education page, as well as in our social media platforms and new monthly newsletters. Running a chapter prospect report every month. That could be daunting, but it would be beneficial to reach out to those prospects and invite them to your events, or just chat, or add them to your newsletter if you have a newsletter. Newsletters are big to kind of tell your members what's happening all at once, highlighting fellow appraisers. So here's just a few ideas. And then just another, you guys know about this, but holding hybrid events. Obviously, this provides flexibility to your members. We know the importance of hybrid and in-person options. And here's just a kind of a brief overview of what's needed for a hybrid event. And you guys are familiar with that as well. So with that, are there any questions on the presentation thus far? Any further questions? Nope. All right. So I guess here is where we want to open it up for discussion amongst the members. Sarah, did you want to take control?
We wanted to open it up. I know Garrett and Adrian were talking earlier that they met at one of these officers' events. So we're not trying to make everybody best friends, but we would like to have this opportunity to talk about what you're doing in your chapters. I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know if we want to like call on people to throw some of these ideas out, but I know that I would love to hear what you're doing, especially in the areas of increasing chapter membership, because obviously I learned that at ASA as well. And then we asked, we sent out a SurveyMonkey link prior to the meeting asking people to RSVP, but also asking for any questions that they would like answered. And one of the biggest questions was, give us ideas to engage with our members. So we talked a little bit about that and given a couple ideas for that, but I would love to hear what some of your chapters are doing to engage with members, or maybe everybody's looking to us for those ideas. But I know that there are, somebody put in there, tell us what the elements of an award-winning chapter is, and I thought that was an awesome way to put it. So maybe if we want to just look at each table and go around and just share what you're doing at your chapter that you think is successful that other chapters can benefit from. If anybody has a better idea of how to do this, but I think that would be better than keeping your great ideas at your tables. So you just start over here. What do you want this to share?
Where's the mic?
I don't have.
Oh, there. I know my chapter is the Northern California chapter. And I know they've been doing a really good job of trying to hold different types of events. Because Northern California covers a wide swath of area and everyone can't necessarily drive into San Francisco all the time. And then maybe once a quarter, 3 times a year, trying to have an in-person networking event in different areas of the San Francisco Bay Area. So that way there's an opportunity, for whatever area you live in, at least once a year to be able to show up. But that there's somewhat regular, every month or 2, there's an education event that you can attend just via Zoom. So you don't have to block out extra time for travel. So that's kind of what they've been doing. It seems to have been working pretty well.
Good afternoon, everybody. Since I have my local chapter president here, I'm going to turn the mic over to him and he can go over exactly what we've been doing in our local chapter. Michael.
Well, one thing's for sure, when you ride a Harley Davidson, you ride to eat. And that's really a good philosophy for our chapters, is having a very good place for everybody to meet and to eat and to greet. And what we've done and continue to do is have our meetings at the oldest steakhouse in Brown County, Florida, in Fort Lauderdale. And we even have our own ASA menu that was negotiated with the steakhouse as well. We put on speakers. We actually attract our members and third members and new members by trying to bring in some really good speakers just by offering them a steak dinner. And we generally meet 4 or 5 times a year. It used to be a lot more, but with the pandemic, we had to back it off. But we definitely search, and then we have our own website. We put a lot of photographs of all the photos of every time that we do have a meeting, and we try to diversify. I mean, we've had speakers that aren't just not appraisers. I mean, sure, we have the local appraiser, county appraiser for Broward County come, but we have other individuals come as well. At one time, we had a guy that spoke down from the Everglades. I'm trying to think of what it was he was selling, but he had his own barbecue sauce he brought. What was that? The swamp monkey, that was it, the swamp monkey. So, and one of the things I know that I've now seen on the website is the ability for me to see all the members that are at least registered. I mean, our chapter is the 100+ members, and our participation is generally around 30 to 40, which is pretty good. It's pretty good. Again, we find that that's been the combination. We've been doing it a long time, and I think it's worked for us, but I think everybody has the same problems as far as, continuing and maintaining membership. But I tell you, go to the meeting because you're gonna have a great dinner, some good talking, and you're gonna get your credits as well towards your certification. Anybody? Next.
But do you pay for the dinner or do they have to pay?
What's that? Yes.
So do you comp the dinner?
No, it costs them $30. And they can pick from a menu, that specific menu that has been, They have to pay $30.
Hey, Andy,
But
could you turn the water off?
Okay, front or back?
Front, on the side.
Okay, anyway, they do have to pay, and we had to increase it. It went from, it was 25 for years. Actually, it was 20 for a while, but now it's 30, but, it still attracts a good solid group of people. And as I said, the ones that come, they come to see the speakers, they come to get credit, they come to get a good steak and to have some good networking opportunities.
Yeah, this is Luke Brinken from Salt Lake City. We've done a lot of the same things where we've invited chapter members to a networking event where we have speakers there to present and offer some sort of continuing education assistance. And we try and keep it more general so that it would be beneficial for all types of disciplines. And yeah, we found that works fairly well. We're a smaller chapter, so we only have a dozen or so people that would attend those. But we have found that it's increasing. So yeah, same thing.
New York chapter has approximately 120 members. Despite that, we still sometimes only get 12 or 14 people at a meeting. So what we discovered we had to do is we had to look at each meeting to ensure that there's a breakdown within each discipline a month of the year to have 3 business valuation, 3 machine and equipment, 3 real property, 3 personal property speakers of high quality in order to inform as many people. We also have networking nights. For example, we're having a networking night to watch the NFL New England Patriots versus New York Jets game. I know how much that will interest me. And it sure does. We most like to meet in person at Connolly's on 47th Street off of Fifth Avenue. So there goes your quality meal. But there's quality alcohol, and that tends to help, especially if the alcohol is free. And it's not like people are getting in their cars and driving. So, and then in terms of speakers, we have one topic of heresy, rethinking the quantification of company-specific risk premiums. And sorry about putting people to sleep here. And then we have the this area called the Monarch Rooftop, which is a rooftop on top of an office building in Midtown Manhattan off of Times Square with amazing views. So we have, and that tends to be either comped for everyone attending or not. And so we discovered it's the high quality speakers and the breakdown amongst the disciplines and networking nights that draws the greatest number. We're trying to pull away from offsite and trying to decrease as much as we can the virtual meetings, because we feel while we get participation, it's more important to have people in the room, and so we're beginning to step away from that completely.
I actually found a copy of our menu. Wait. Filet mignon, cracked live, lamb,
And what else?
Okay, thank you.
What else? Oh, vegetarian, New York strip, Tuscan T-bone,
And even seafood.
and seafood, shrimp scampi.
Sebastian, French, I mean, we have a full menu with.
We're gonna check out that menu in half an hour. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Melanie Monica. I'm serving as president of the Houston chapter, and to add on to all of that, we do the same thing. We have monthly meetings. We have a lunch meeting with a presentation. We recommend having speakers come and present on topics that are not appraisers from the group. We get speakers from outside of our members, and sometimes we do have members present, but oftentimes we have people to keep down on the competition. We invite them from the professional outside realm of our members. And then because those are lunch meetings and people do pay their fee for their lunch, then we We also have a happy hour twice a year. So we have at the same meeting location, we'll have an evening event where we have a 2-hour happy hour event. We give away 3 bottles of wine for drawings as door prizes. And that is a complimentary event that we offer prospective members from that prospective members list that ASA offers. And we've added to that as well. We also offer use pack classes. We pay for the instructors and people get to take it for the cost of that $40 of the materials. That's a year of member benefits opportunity we give our members, and that's for their 15 hours and their 7 hours. So people love the fact that they can get their use pack from Houston when they need it. And then what were you saying, Mark, for me to add? We do have a happy hour coming up next Thursday. We have contacted an auction house in town, and the auction house is having an open house for us to come with our members and guests. And we're going to preview the sale that they are about to have in the next week or 2. So partner with your local auction houses, partner with local businesses, see what they can offer. Having speakers come in, sometimes they give incentives and different opportunities, or they might then sponsor a door prize or 2. You never know unless you ask. And so anything else that I need to add that Houston's doing? We try to do really good things for our members. The young people, the first thing on that list says recruiting and engaging younger members. We have a number of young people in the Houston chapter, and I'd like to ask, how is the Rising Star program? And how is that handled? Because we've got young people, and we nominated one young person who's a member of our chapter, and that person did not get selected as a Rising Star. Is there a limit to the Rising Star program? How is that working?
A limit to
How
the
many
number of
people get selected
recipients?
as a Rising Star?
There's not a limit or a specific number. Sorry, I don't know if you guys can hear me. I'm trying to talk loudly, but there's not a specific number that's chosen each year.
Okay, then I'm going to recommend that when a chapter nominates a Rising Star young person, they should be selected. I don't understand.
It's discouraging if someone doesn't get.
Absolutely, because this, I can tell you that this was a stellar person that deserved it. This guy shows up, he brings our equipment, he's live streaming our lunch meeting so that our online people can attend, which I highly also recommend. But for that guy to not be selected as a Rising, every single chapter should have a Rising Star member every year if they have one. I highly recommend that every chapter, every year gets one Rising Star position elevated if they have someone for that. So I'll be at happy hour. I'll be everywhere. Come see me, come join me. Let's talk. We have great ideas. We can all share and learn from one another.
Hello, I'm Gazelle Wichner, and I'm here representing the Los Angeles chapter. We have over 300 members, and 200 of which are designated. Actually, our numbers have come down a bit over the last several years. We're doing a little bit of rebuilding now, but our members that still are very involved are very well connected. And that is how we've gotten some of our stellar speakers and events. Our personal property people, especially fine arts, I believe we are accepting a chapter award for an event that we recently had. We go to, not your typical, not just go to a museum, we do behind the scenes. So we get a lot of interest from all disciplines because everybody is interested in fine art and the type of programs, the just gorgeous programs that they put on. Also, we do programs that involve fascinating places that everybody doesn't get to see. A few years ago, we had a tour of the Hoover Dam area and the entire Metropolitan Water District pipeline in a luxury bus over a weekend. People are still talking about that event. We're also now planning to do some tours of the Los Angeles and Long Beach ports. These type of events, again, when we have our virtual events, we use those for our planning. They're great for planning. We're focused and such, but our in-person events, we're sending for the type of thing that generates excitement, networking, and things that people are interested in, aside from their discipline. Now, you were talking about Florida, about food. We used to, since I think the 1940s, our chapter met at La Ferté, which is a French restaurant on Sunset Boulevard. They are going to be torn down as soon as the new development gets its entitlements. They're going to let them have a small space in the back somewhere, but the restaurant as it is exquisite. It is untouched since I think the 1920s. And it's become a very popular hipster spot. And I don't know why we stopped having our events there, because we had the menu. We had the three menu choices, the French onion soup, and we always scrum for a bottle of table at the wine, but then everyone was already smashed anyway because it had a great bar. So, you know, we had cocktails.
You had a happy hour, right?
Yes, we had happy hour. It was wonderful, and we want to do that at least one more time before the wrecking ball. So that's what we're trying to get together for this year, to bring back that bit of nostalgia, and just keep the virtual meetings for planning and for some educational events, because it's very important. People don't like to drive. You know, we're spread out, so I think it's very important. But we're slowly coming back to the in-person. Okay, pass her around.
Afternoon, this is Rick Conti from the Boston chapter. We have 168 members, so we're not as big as California. But we do everything that I've heard. We have very fancy restaurants. The next meeting is across the street from the courthouse where the Karen Reed trial was taking place. And it's a high-end restaurant. So one of the most important things that we do that I haven't heard, and that's what I want to focus on, things that we haven't heard, is that we set the entire year's schedule before September, so that everybody can mark their calendars of when the meeting's going to take place and they can be there. We could do a better job of getting around. We tend to be concentrated in the South Boston area, and we really need to get into because we have members up in New Hampshire, some members in Maine. So we have a really big area, and so I'm going to move it around. Another thing we did was really successful was we did a Zoom. I called it Tales of the Crypt, where assessors would have a 15-minute discussion about a problem that they're working on right now. I remember a business valuation person talking about a family business that made an ozone protection device, and during COVID, the sales just soared. And when COVID was over, the family had overinvested and had an oversupply, and they were wrestling with what was going on. Some wanted to leave the company, and so it gets to be really exciting. And it's fun for people outside the discipline to hear what's going on in a different discipline. I've learned so much. Discount cash flow analysis for personal property. Who would have ever thought? Yes, there's an application, and it's good to learn that from a business valuation guy. Another thing that I've learned as president is that assessors really like to talk about themselves. And so we have these round table meetings where you talk about what's on your desk. Right now I'm working on 4 appraisal reports. One is an estate for a trust. One is an estate for a conservator, a woman taking care of her brother. One is a divorce, a big divorce. And the other one is a guy who wants to do a charitable donation of a bunch of newspapers from Armenia. So it's really strange things that
The sound has gone dead.
We're back.
Cost is $95, but the Federal Reserve Bank is presenting a state of the economic conditions, which is applicable to all disciplines, and provide lunch. So every Federal Reserve Bank has a mandate to do outreach and to get into the community, so everybody can have an opportunity to do this, and it's a wonderful lunch. And you get to meet a lot of people coming from the appraisal institute, the real estate appraisals. And then last year, we had a joint dinner meeting with the Massachusetts Association of Auctioneers. And that was fascinating because there were auctioneers from the lower end selling down in dirty estates to people selling $1 million rugs in art. And they were really interested to meet the appraisers that dealt with real estate and personal property and business valuation, because they could see the simulation, the coordination, the collective intent in the business. So those are the unique things that I haven't heard that I think could help us out.
Rick? It sounds like the Boston chapter may also need to have a football event for the, representing the Patriots, of course, against the Jets.
Well, the Patriots won their first game.
Oh, I know.
You do know. We'll see how the rest of the season.
We'll see how it goes.
I have my doubts.
We'll meet you in Foxborough.
That's a good idea. I'm gonna convert the holiday party into Miami. That's gonna be.
I'm Carol Klug, and I'm on the Houston chapter. And a few things that haven't been mentioned is that we put on an energy value disciplinary. And what we do to reach out and recruit younger members is that we invite a couple of professors from, I think we have 3 or 4 universities, and we invite students. But we partner with other professional associations to market. And so our total attendance is about 250. 40% are CPAs. They're not ASAs. 30% are machinery and technology, 30% BV, 30% CPAs. But, we reach maybe 100 people come in person and attend, and the rest are online. So the online people are from 27 states in about 12 countries. So it's been an exceptional outreach. And multidisciplinary. So another thing that the Houston chapter does, Melanie started an expert witness workshop. And that has been very successful, and it's brought in about, 150 or so?
About 100, and we have online as well, but in person, about 80 to 100.
Yeah, so it's been a hybrid thing too. So lots going on. Thank you.
And thank you, Carol.
Hi, everybody. I am Mario Marquez from Mexico chapter. We are a small chapter. We have 32 members now, but we are increasing in the last years. I would like to have Spanish speaking instructors for the courses, POV courses. We talked with Ryan Keenan on MTS or Annalie McKinnon in personal property, but it's a principal problem to increase the membership in our chapter. We have half of the members have the designation, business valuation, MTS, and real property, but we would like to have more courses, if possible, in Spanish. Now, with Adrian, who speaks Spanish very well, it would be possible. No? I would like to do a program in Spanish, because The ASA courses are expensive for Mexican prices. Thank you.
I'm Terry Taylor, and I'm also a dual member of both Orange County, Florida, and Orlando, which is not really active, but I drive to South Florida. But I'm also the chair of the membership subcommittee with real property. And I'd like to hear all the great ideas that are happening here, but some of the things that membership does is speak with Melanie over in Houston and Rob Luciano and other people in Philadelphia. We reach out to some people to promote the Ally program and some of the ideas that come out of our membership meeting. We meet every month for 7-8 months that I've been chairing, and we have great participation. Craig Turner, I think, is on from New York. He basically recognizes that you need to do more joint events. And it doesn't necessarily mean, let's have a luncheon or a dinner, but maybe there's a golf outing or something else. But get Appraisal Institute together with ASA. Alan Jolly in LA is a great resource for you. Okay. Because he's real active in education with the international, you probably know him well. So membership has actively worked closely on promoting Ally program. There's also retired members renewal program, and also not to mention the students and the trainee program. In other words, there's people that are in university systems that are basically pursuing real estate degrees that are qualified for a membership. And I think if you talk to Sarah about anything like that, even with the registered trainee that's working under your supervision, there's also some membership qualification benefits there. So whatever you do for the good of your team or your chapter, these are just additional ideas. And with my participation in probably the best message you can send out there to your chapters is attend the events when they're hosted. Remind everybody you're a member of this chapter, so make sure you attend the meeting. And average the chapter officers that are promoting these events, just like Rick was saying in Boston, they schedule their year in advance, and they're basically making sure everybody understands what's happening over the next month or a couple months period for the year, but then market it and promote it. Our secretary in South Florida will host using not only ASA Connect or the templates, but he'll promote and take the membership information and send out a blast to everybody. You got large members out there. Now the idea is how do you get them to your event? So a continued marketing effort to make that happen.
I am Darcy Tell. I am a very new president. I don't even know what I'm called, of the 055, which is DC. Also Richmond, which is something that was kind of imposed on us, and we haven't solved that one yet because they dissolved that chapter. There's a great geographical distance. I've gotten a lot of really good ideas. Our chapter is not as active, and we have a core group of people who participate, who speak. I've gotten a lot of good ideas, but there's more to be done. And we especially, I think, I know certainly in personal property for younger members. And so that is something that's on our mind. I'm also the membership subcommittee president, head of the personal property committee. So that's something I think about quite a lot. But anyway, fabulous ideas, very good ideas. And I like the in-person, but I've had quite a few requests from, and I want to talk about this tomorrow at our KP meeting, or at the personal property committee meeting. Young people especially would like more virtual kind of informal networking things so that we meet one another and make a greater sense of, or join as a community, which is hard sometimes, and it certainly has been very difficult since the pandemic. So, to be continued. Andy, anything to add?
No, I'm not a chapter president.
I
Thank you
know.
very much.
But you're the-
Yeah, I'm the region two governor, which is why I came to this, because I do have chapters. And right now I have one that Sarah and I are both going to be looking at and trying to figure out how we can revitalize rather than eliminate. So that, I'm sorry that more chapters don't attend this kind of function to get the idea, to get some of the ideas, because your ideas are great. One of the things DC's always done is we have one gallery a year. And yeah, the personal property people come, but I know what Rick is saying. Who comes and who loves it the most? The real estate people, the business valuation people, and not necessarily the art people. So it's, you know, that the idea of being a multidisciplinary organization really can be a strong draw, I think, for more chapter participation.
And I'm going to add to that, because Sandy just segued right into this, that if you don't know your audience, you're missing your opportunities. If your chapter is 25% BV people and you're not having at least your events with a speaker that's 25% on BV topic, they're not going to come. And that goes for any discipline you can name. So look at your percentages and then schedule your speakers and topics that relate to that. So you're giving your audience the interest that they will show up for, either in person or online. Also, we've got a new CEO. She's got a good vision. She's kicked off the Houston chapter. She flew to Houston. It was our first presentation at our meeting a few weeks ago for September. Ask her to come to your chapter. Ask anybody on ASA to come give you an update of the society. That's a really good person to come and present, and that might get more people in the room and more discussions going.
Actually, we are having Lana on in October in a room. We're having a dinner. But I've had a couple of requests for is it virtual possible? Do you think that's something that we could maybe, if the room where we've done it? Because maybe we could get, maybe we could get it. Yeah, well, I'll check on the restaurant. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's easy. Yeah, no, it's true, a computer.
Yeah,
but then we need.
There's no air here.
Yeah, no, that might be, it's a good idea.
How can you make it possible for, like, my chapter, we aren't set up to do the virtual style meeting, and that would be a very good way to grow our membership and our audience, especially for numbers of people that are a long distance, but quite really know how to do that. That would be something.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did want to open it up to those online, if anybody has ideas, comments to share. We have a few more minutes. Okay. I think, Andrea, if you want to wrap it up, you can. We're right. That's good time.
Thank you so much, everybody. That was fantastic. I loved hearing everything about your chapters, or a lot about your chapters. So again, if there's anything that I can do to help in these ways, please email the chapter info@appraisers.org, or there's my phone number right there. I'm happy to help in any way I can. If I can't answer that question, I'll find the person for you to help promote your chapter, promote your events, and help you lead your chapter this upcoming year. So with that, if there's not any more questions, we are free to go.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody online.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Andrea.
Nice to meet you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.